Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gambell with SimplerOptions.com, and in tonight's free video I wanted to focus on Apple, because as I begin my analysis for any given chart, I always like to start with the biggest time frames first, and a weekly is typically about as big as what I will analyze. As you come back and look at your major swing high against a major swing low, we have made the 1272 extension of this move, but we have not yet made the 1618, and I'm also trying to look for things because Google, Amazon, all these other major NASDAQ components have already had such significant rallies. Buying those gets to be a little bit more dicey. I try to think of what hasn't made its big move yet, and I'm looking to Apple for another, $10 may be optimistic. Obviously, I'm not talking about next week, but I'm just saying from a general perspective, focusing on Apple to the long side is the way to go. So that's kind of the big target I have off of the weekly chart. And then when you drop down into the daily, look how well we continue to hold this 8-period exponential moving average. That's one thing that I think you'll find works pretty well in aggressive bull markets, and that is definitely what we are in. Once I can confirm off of the weekly chart that I've got a little bit of overhead for the target, and then I come into the daily and say, okay, this continues to respect support as well, then I'll drop down into smaller time frames and see if I have, or essentially say, what is the next biggest time frame? Clearly we didn't have one on the daily, but go down to another big time frame ideally and see if you can find a squeeze. Now I like using the 130-minute chart because it evenly divides the 390-minute cash session. And its course too, it's a time frame that not everybody is looking at. So in that way of thinking, you can see that we have a fresh squeeze here that is getting ready, I think, to fire long. And then that is also complemented by the hourly and the 39-minute charts. So what you could do on this too is give yourself the chance to let it clear a previous swing high off of the 39-minute chart. You could use either of these depending on how aggressive you want it to be, but let it clear those levels and then look for those bigger squeezes to carry you up into a fresh new high. So that's one that I think hasn't quite made the move yet. The squeezes suggest that that move may be imminent, and I think that would be a good place to focus as we get into next week. So you guys have a great 3-day Memorial weekend, and I hope to see you first thing on Tuesday.